Honda was a latecomer to the pickup world, taking until 2006 to build the first-generation Ridgeline. When it finally debuted, many questioned whether it was really a truck at all, given its oddball sail panel profile, unibody construction, and limited capability relative to the well-established, traditional trucks already on the market. It was clear Honda had different ideas about what a mid-sized truck should be, and despite the criticism it took for its supposed shortcomings, the Ridge found a following. The first Ridgeline sold 250,000 units, 175,000 of which are still with their original owners. The new 2017 Honda Ridgeline takes Honda's reinvention of the pickup to the next level, even as the new model adopts a more conventional exterior look. As was the case with the first model, it's tempting to measure and rate the new Honda Ridgeline in the context of its competition. But that's wrong for several reasons, first and foremost being that it doesn't have any competitors. There are alternatives, to be sure, but the 2017 Ridgeline isn't a truck in the traditional sense of the word, and although it'll do a lot of truck-like things, and do them very well, the Ridgeline isn't a truck. It's the untruck. Even Honda falls into this comparison trap, bragging about the Ridgeline's list of segment-leading features, its 1584-pound payload capacity, 50-inch width between wheel wells, long list of standard and available safety options, and triple-sealed cabin quietness. Against its supposed competitors, the Ridgeline chalks many spec sheet victories. But missing from that quantitative analysis is the human aspect of the new Ridgeline's overall driving experience. Because of its four-wheel independent suspension, core-like interior, soft yet supportive seats, and torque-vectoring rear wheels on all-wheel drive models, the Ridgeline drives more like a well-balanced, comfort-minded sedan. On the highway, its quietness, comfort, and visibility make it a great road trip or long commute vehicle. Getting technical when it comes to trucks, specs matter. With untrucks like the Ridgeline, specs matter even more because they need to do what trucks do while taking a different route to the final result. So the basics, all 2017 Honda Ridgelines come with a single engine, the 3.5-liter V6 found in numerous Honda products. Here, it's rated at 280 horsepower and 262 lb-ft of torque. Peak power hits at 6,000 revolutions per minute. Peak torque arrives at 4,700 revolutions per minute, though it's higher than 200 lb-ft across essentially the entire engine speed range. Combined with the standard 6-speed automatic transmission with multi-disc lock-up clutch torque converter, the Ridgeline's engine delivers very good acceleration in back-to-back 0 to 50 miles per hour sprints with a Colorado of similar configuration. The 305 horsepower Chevy feels only a touch quicker. The Ridgeline is available in two-wheel and all-wheel drive forms, but as before, it is front-drive based, not rear-drive like traditional trucks. In AWD form, the Ridgeline is primarily front-drive, too, but can send up to 70% of torque rearward when needed to combat wheel spin or when engaged by the traction mode system, which includes snow, mud, and sand modes. Compared to the previous Ridgeline, the new model's torque-vectoring AWD system is 46% faster in engaging the rear wheels and has 20% more torque capacity. The use of a wet clutch-based torque-vectoring rear end allows the Ridgeline to use power alone to vector the torque, rather than the brake-based torque vectoring found on other mid-size trucks. This means the Ridgeline can add torque to the outside rear wheel in cornering to enhance rotation or to the inside rear wheel when changing lanes at freeway speeds to reduce yaw and enhance stability. The three modes beyond the normal setting also tweak the drive-by-wire throttle response, offering a second gear start and less throttle per degree of pedal movement in snow mode or more aggressive throttle tuning in sand mode. A mix of throttle response, easy on takeoff, more aggressive once you're going, is pre-tuned for mud mode. All three non-normal modes bias more torque to the rear, and both mud and sand modes hold lower gears longer and allow more slip from both the traction control and the VSA stability control system. Whip down a rough dirt road and the Ridgeline can run with two of best of the current mid-sized truck segment, the Chevy Colorado, GMC Canyon and Toyota Tacoma. I know, because I drove them back-to-back on a range of off-road courses Honda set up at Rio Cibolo Ranch near San Antonio, Texas. There, we got a good sense of untruck's performance. Through a hairpin-laden dirt course cut through grass and strewn with obstacles including a railroad tie, a riverrock rough section, and a series of shallow whoop-de-doos, the sand mode provides plenty leeway to slide the Ridgeline. Cornering proves fast, without obtrusive traction or stability control intervention. Plowing through the same course in the Tacoma and Colorado produces ample understeer in 4WD mode, though both fare as well as the Ridgeline once reverting back to RWD mode. Their stick axles and greater unsprung weight cause a somewhat rougher ride, however. The off-road section is a meandering bit of tow track featuring a water crossing, undulating woods, a man-made steep ascent hill, a series of alternating hillocks, a sand pit, and a wheel articulation test. It wasn't a challenge for the Colorado or Tacoma, nor was it for the Ridgeline. Would the Ridgeline fare as well as the Chevy or the Toyota at Moab or crossing the Rubicon? Almost certainly not. But it will go more places than 95% of the owners of any of the three trucks will ever dare. Getting cerebral: how can a mid-size pickup be so car-like and comfy on pavement yet still capable enough for most people off-road and pack 5,000 pounds of towing, with the AWD version, as well as 3/4 of a ton of payload capacity? By taking a very different approach to development and design, an approach informed by research and statistics, rather than by tradition and the desire to one-up the other guy. The Ridgeline's unibody construction offers greater rigidity than the body-on-frame setups used by other midsize trucks. This torsional stiffness allows for relatively lower spring rates and damping for control of body motion, making for a more comfortable ride when unloaded. The torque vectoring rear end aids trailer towing stability. The sheet-molded composite, SMC, bed material is practically indestructible, shrugging off dents and scratches that would permanently damage metal beds. All of these choices are the result of market research to define the 95% use case of a mid-sized truck, which Honda then used to build the Ridgeline. In fact, Honda's research shows that recreational towing accounts for less than 3% of mid-sized truck use, and when owners do tow, nearly 70% tow either flatbed utility trailers or boat trailers weighing less than 2,500 pounds. Another 20+% tow in the 2,500 to 5,000 pound range, typically enclosed utility trailers or camping trailers. This covers the vast majority of real-world scenarios, meaning that whatever mid-sized truck fans may think, they're very unlikely to exceed the Ridgeline's ability in actual use. The Ridgeline comes standard with a hitch receiver and industry-standard 7-pin plug, and it's also wired for a trailer brake controller. Even if the figures aren't as favorable as Honda's research indicates, my experience using the Ridgeline to tow a 3,600-pound trailer loaded with a 4-seater side-by-side and a Honda Quad showed it to be fully up to the task in acceleration and deceleration as well as stability. The one caveat to the Ridgeline's towing ability is that where the conventional mid-sized trucks ride better once loaded, the Ridgeline rides worse. Bumps are felt more acutely at the rear end, and the nose floats a bit more, both symptoms of being closer to max capacity than its stick-slid alternatives. Honda has focused its efforts where they really matter. It has delivered a vehicle that will easily do everything potential owners will need a truck to do 5% of the time, without compromising comfort, handling, and quietness for the other 95%. Getting technological: one area where the new Ridgeline unquestionably has the upper hand in the midsize truck market is safety. Honda anticipates 5-star NHTSA crash test ratings, as well as good performance in the small overlap test and a top safety pick plus rating based on its in-house computer modeling and real-world crash testing. Even if it falls short on one or more of those marks, however, its suite of safety technologies dwarfs the offerings from GM and Toyota. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, which aims to reduce the severity of an impact after the vehicle leaves the road, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic monitoring, and automatic high beam control are all available on the Ridgeline, though you'll have to opt up to the pricier RTLE or Black Edition trims, the top two tiers, to get them all. Another new technology to the midsize segment is the in-bed audio system, which uses exciters to turn the entirety of the bed sides and front into weather and impact-proof speakers. This complements the in-bed trunk, which can accommodate up to an 82-quart cooler, or serve as a cooler itself when filled with ice, thanks to a built-in drain plug, and the bed-mounted AC socket, which can supply up to 400 watts of power when the vehicle is parked and the engine is running, enough to run a 60-inch television. Thanks to a trick latch hinge system, the tailgate opens normally toward the rear, but it also opens toward the side, great for access to the underbed trunk. Put these features together and you have a heck of a picnicking or tailgating setup, without having to do any cutting or wiring yourself. There's a downside to the bed-based tech: height. The tailgate and bed floor of the Ridgeline are noticeably higher than in the Colorado or Tacoma, about on par with a much higher-riding, heavy-duty full-size truck. This can make it tougher to get items up and into the bed, especially for shorter users. On the infotainment front, once you opt up to the RTLT trim, you get an 8-inch touchscreen display with navigation, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Pandora, and USB input. Getting expensive if it seems like there's been a fair bit of if you opt up to a certain trim level talk thus far, it's because there has. And it's not like the base Ridgeline starts out cheap, at $30,375 for the 2WD Ridgeline RT. All-wheel drive adds $1,800 to every trim level up through the $36,830, $38,630 with AWD, RTLT. The top-spec RTLE and Black Edition Ridgelines are AWD and priced at $42,270 and $43,770, respectively. Comparing these prices to a comparably equipped Chevy Colorado or Toyota Tacoma, the Ridgeline is just about on target, about $500 more than the Tacoma and $400 less than the Colorado. But that's where the comparisons stop, because both the Tacoma and Colorado offer a wide variety of cabin bed configurations, while the Ridgeline is four-door, short bed only. The Colorado and Tacoma can both be had for much less money in lower spec configurations, nearly $10,000 less in both cases. On top of the lack of cabin bed options, the Ridgeline comes with just one engine. Both Toyota and GM offer a choice of 4- and 6-cylinder gas engines, and GM also offers a torquey 4-cylinder diesel, too. Combined with the extra cabin bed configurations, there's still plenty of midsize truck ground that the Ridgeline can't reach. Fortunately for Honda, the Ridgeline isn't aiming to poach buyers from the existing midsize truck crowd. Instead, it's looking squarely at the crossover market, intending to grab buyers who want the comfort and core-like behavior of a crossover for their daily driving duties, but the dirty workspace afforded by a pickup bed for the weekends, whether they're working on the yard or the house or playing at the lake or in the desert. Here we see Honda's strategy with the Ridgeline come full circle. It's not built like a traditional truck, it doesn't drive like a truck, its interior doesn't look or feel like a truck's, and it's not really aimed at truck people. Even though it has a bed and does everything a mid-sized truck should do, and does it all quite well, it's not a truck. It's a crossover with a bed, both in theory and in practice, being built largely of upgraded pilot parts. It's an untruck. If you hold prejudices that dictate what a truck's nationality should be, this one's built in Alabama, by the way, or how it should be made, or what it should look like, untruck yourself. Give the Ridgeline a look. You just might find it's as fun, capable, and practical as I did. 2017 Honda Ridgeline specifications on sale. July price, $30,375. Base engine, 3.5 liters 24-valve SOC V6/280 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute, 262 lb-ft at 4,700 revolutions per minute transmission, 6-speed automatic layout, 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine FWD, AWD truck EPA mileage, 1819 2,526 city, highway LXWXH, 210.0 by 78.6 by 70.270.8 in wheelbase, 125.2 in weight, 4,242/4,431 pounds, 2 WD/AWD 060 miles per hour, 6.5 seconds, a state top speed, N, a show more.